Welcome to episode 20 of the Perrysburg Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is an informational podcast for prospective, new, and current Perrysburg, Ohio residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. You can find the show notes for this episode on perrysburgpodcast.com. Today, we're talking about Porch Pirates. This is a great episode for anyone who's brand new to town or anyone who's been living here and wants to know how do porch pirates affect people in Perrysburg. But this is also great information for anyone who's looking to move here. Perrysburg has a reputation as a small town with a low crime rate. Sometimes, however, we small town folks hear about things on the news, in the newspaper, on podcasts, etc., like porch pirates, and we get curious about how they really affect our small town. Who better to know about it than Perrysburg police? To learn more about what a porch pirate is, how they affect Perrysburg, and how Perrysburg residents can avoid being victims of porch pirates, I spoke to City of Perrysburg police officer and crime prevention specialist, Stephen Loar. Before I roll our interview, I just want to encourage you to stick around until the very end. There is a bonus about keeping up to date about criminal activity here in Perrysburg using two specific smartphone apps. This information is not coming from little old me. These tips are actually coming from both Officer Stephen Loar, who I'm going to interview in a minute here, and the City of Perrysburg's Public Information Officer, Marie Dunn. Thank you both for being with me today, Officer Loar and Marie. Now, without further ado, here's my interview with Officer Stephen Loar. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for being with me today. I understand you're an officer with the City of Perrysburg Police. Can you tell me a little bit about your history with the police department?
Sure. So I've been with the city of Perrysburg for 3.5 years now. I've been an officer for 4 years total. When I started out here, basic patrol. Actually, last year just got some specialized training in crime prevention. Went through a series of classes through the Ohio Crime Prevention Association for Ohio and got certified as a crime prevention specialist. So what I've actually started doing now with the city is we're starting to put out some evaluations that we can do for businesses and for local residents if they would like us to check their properties and kind of do safety checks to make sure that they're protecting themselves in the best way possible. We're starting to get that rolling. It's kind of what I do.
Thank you for the service you provide to our city. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Today, we're going to be talking about something that is very popular to talk about at this time of the year. We're going into the Christmas season. Let's talk about porch pirates. What is a porch pirate?
All right, porch pirates. So a lot of times what you'll have is these individuals that will go around driving through neighborhoods and they see a package laying down on your front steps. By your porch or driveway, they'll see the packages or they will actually follow the FedEx trucks or UPS trucks, Amazon. They'll follow them, and when they see them drop off packages, they'll swoop in, they'll grab them, and then they run. It's real quick. They're up at your house for maybe 5 to 10 seconds, grabbing what they can, and then they're out of there.
That is so unfair. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Down with the porch pirates.
Exactly. Yep. It's definitely hard for us to even catch them in the act because of how quick they are. They swoop in, they get it, and they're out. Most of the time, our proactive steps are getting cameras in place and that kind of stuff. So it's real hard to catch them in the act. If we're lucky, they're hitting multiple houses in a neighborhood, and the first person sees them, and we can catch them by the last person. But most of the time, it's a few hours before we even find out that they were even in the area.
It sounds like Perrysburg's affected by this because you're saying we hear about this and we are catching people. Tell me, what are you seeing in Perrysburg?
So we always see an uptick of it, especially this time of the year. I don't know about you, but me and my wife, we do all our Christmas shopping online. So everything comes in from Amazon, UPS, that kind of stuff. So I think 90% of our shopping is online now, which I think the majority of people, especially with just going through COVID, most of us want to just stay at home and do our shopping that way. So it is on the rise pretty much everywhere. We, knock on wood, haven't had too much just yet with this year, but we are expecting to see that start going up. We do get a few every year, but we also get a lot of like the vehicle break-ins as well. It's kind of along those same lines, but I know I want to say last winter I ended up taking 2 or 3 of these calls where we're getting their packages taken right off the front step.
Thank you for sharing that. That is something I wasn't sure how it impacted Perrysburg. You have confirmed it does happen here.
Yep, for sure. There's a lot more of it up in Toledo. It's a denser population, but we do have the occasional individual that they'll come down from Toledo. Most of them that we're seeing, they'll come down from Toledo. They'll hit locations here, and then they're back up in Toledo. Having 75, 475, it's an easy loop that they can hit it quick and be gone.
You bring up a good point, access. Yeah, that
Yep.
opportunity with the roads and whatnot. Now, you mentioned just a couple minutes ago about how one person will become a victim and then maybe some neighbors will see it and they'll
hmm
report it and you'll catch them. What could the average Perrysburg resident do to help with that? Do they call 911? What do they do?
So if you see something like this, definitely call 911 immediately. As soon as you see it, call 911. The sooner we can get the call and get out to the location, the higher probability that we're going to find these people and be able to stop them. Um, a lot of people nowadays have like ring doorbell cameras. You get a notification on your phone and you see somebody walking up to your front step and take your package, call us right away. Even if you're not home, call 911. It might go to the jurisdiction that you're at, but they can transfer it to us in it's less than 10, 15 seconds that the call gets transferred to us. So once we get it, we can get it dispatched to our guys, and then we can get out to the location to actually, find them and catch them. The sooner we get notifications, the better. So what I always recommend is, everybody stay vigilant. We are a community. We all need to work together. So if you see somebody messing with your neighbor's packages, call it in, let us know so we can at least get out there. If it's obviously happening to yourself, call us, let us know. And if we're noticing a trend where it's hitting the same neighborhoods, we can then start doing directed patrols where we're sending officers out there during specific times to patrol the neighborhoods. And then we're able to catch them a little bit easier that way. Or they'll see us out in the neighborhood and they're deterred completely and they won't even try.
Yeah, what I picture is the Amazon truck pulling up, dropping off a package, and then this other car coming up,
Yeah.
picking up the package that Amazon just delivered, neighbors catching on, calling right away. And then
hmm
how fast would you say you're able to respond to a call?
Our response time here in the city is, I believe, on average under 2 minutes. A lot of times we have officers in the area and we're there 1 minute, minute and a half, maybe. We're real good about getting to the area real quick. Being a smaller town, we do have several officers on duty at a time. I think we have 5, 6, 7, 8 sometimes. So having us all spread out through the city is we're able to get places real quick, and we can always, if somebody's closer, they'll call out that they'll go to it instead of somebody who might be assigned that district. But we have all these guys. We thankfully don't have a high crime rate, so our guys are normally available to be able to take calls like this real quick.
You hit on something that I certainly believe myself. Perrysburg's a small town and it's
Mhm.
got a low crime rate. Thank you for confirming that. Now, we talked about after the crime has been committed, what can you do? How about prevention? How can a Perrysburg resident prevent a porch pirate from, stealing their stuff?
Yeah. So several things that I would recommend. Um, Doorbell cameras are great. A lot of times, if they see a camera, they're less likely to commit the crime. One of the things that I kind of harp on is when we're looking at prevention, we want them to do one of 5 things. We want them to either deter the crime, delay the crime, deny access to the crime. We want to devalue the crime. So those are all things we want to do when we're looking at prevention. So a camera will detect the crime happening, which then you can then report it to us. So it's not really preventing the action prior to it happening, but things that you can do is having those cameras up do help deter it. People are less likely to commit a crime when they know that they're going to be seen and they can be identified. Another option you can do when ordering is a lot of times, I think Amazon does it, where you can set like delivery options to where you can have them put the package in a specific spot. What I recommend is if you have two doors, you got the main door and you got like a glass door, if it can fit between the doors, have that happen. So it's less likely to be seen if it's you got kind of a screen there. Obviously, bigger packages, you're not going to be able to see them quite as well. If you got a car in the driveway or a dumpster, you got your trash cans, have them put it behind the trash can, have them put it underneath the car. These are options that you can do to help kind of obscure it so it's not being seen. Another option I would highly recommend if you're getting packages, have the delivery date set for a time when you're going to be home. With Amazon, you get those notifications. Hey, it's going to be delivered between 12:30 and 3:00. When you get those notifications, keep an eye out for the FedEx truck or the Amazon truck. When they pull up, get your packages in right away. So then they don't have a chance to even pull up to come up to get your packages. So the sooner you get them inside, and being able to detect it is a real big step in helping prevent your packages from getting taken.
Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah,
I happen to work from home. I'm pretty lucky. As soon as I get that
for sure.
notification that
Yep.
there's somebody on my front porch, I'm down there. I'm checking to see who it is. Hopefully it's not a door-to-door salesperson because they know I'm in there and then they wait. But yeah, for a package delivery, I can bring it inside pretty quick. I'm lucky though, but thank you for sharing all of those different opportunities to reduce your chances of porch pirates stealing your stuff. Appreciate that. Do you see porch pirates at the Christmas time more than you see them at any other time during the year, or does it happen year round?
We do see them year round. We get occasionally year round. We see them that they're more prevalent during the holidays because people are getting more packages in. But anytime, I mean, they could just be following FedEx or UPS around all day and just be picking them up. So everybody gets packages throughout the year. It can happen. We don't see it quite as much, but holidays is definitely when it picks up.
Good to know. How about the delivery drivers? Do they ever call you and say, "Hey, I'm being tailed.
Yes,
Something's not right"?
we have gotten a few of those calls. Yeah. We actually had, I can't remember when it was. We had somebody that actually came up to the UPS truck and tried to take a package right off of the truck. So it's they'll take all kinds of steps where they're trying to get free stuff. They'll steal it, resell it, whatever they got to do. They're trying to make some money or get products. So
Yeah, I know it's just the world we live in today,
it
but
is. Yep.
I think when knowledge is power, now that you've enlightened us about what's going on in Perrysburg, I think a lot of us have more strategies,
For
more
sure.
tricks up our sleeves. Yep. Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share while we're still on this call?
Just along the lines, especially with the holidays coming up, if you're going to be out shopping as well, take your purse inside. Try not to leave any valuables inside your car. We see a uptick in vehicle break-ins as well. You got your packages, you got your shopping stuff that you have in the back of the trunk. If they can look in and they can see it, they'll shatter your window and they'll take the stuff. So try to keep your stuff, locked up, hidden inside. That way, it's harder to detect that you got valuables in your car.
That's great advice too. Everybody needs that reminder. It's common sense until you accidentally do it yourself. You need a
Yeah,
reminder. Yep.
especially, I mean, in Perrysburg, like I said, we are a low crime area, so we can get complacent. Even I do from time to time. Just leaving my door unlocked because it's Perrysburg. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, sometimes it does. So just trying to remember to stay vigilant. Try not to get complacent with anything, and we'll be all set.
Great tips. Officer Stephen Loar, thank you so much for being here on the Perrysburg Podcast. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
And now for the bonus with Marie Dunn and Officer Stephen Loar.
Yeah, so the city of Perrysburg is part of the Neighbors Public Safety program, which is an app that you can download on your phone, and it's run through the same people that make the Ring cameras. You don't need a Ring camera to use the Neighbors Public Safety app, but what it is, it helps us share local information about crimes happening in certain neighborhoods, and it also allows you to see what types of crimes are happening, or also report things that you see in your neighborhood, and maybe if you have the video from your Ring camera or any camera, you can post it on there for other people to see and maybe help catch whoever is taking stuff from your porch or whatnot. So it's called the Neighbors Public Safety app, and we have a link to download it on our website. If you go to the City of Perrysburg's website and click on police under programs, you'll see more information about it. And there's a link there where you can download it on your phone.
Thank you for sharing that. And Stephen, I know that kind of off camera here, off mic, we were talking a little bit about the Nextdoor app. Would you like to share anything about the Nextdoor app?
Yeah, so the Nextdoor app, it's very similar to the program that we use with the city. I currently live in Bowling Green, and Bowling Green has used it as kind of a neighborhood watch kind of deal. Very similar to the way our program works. You can share information on there. I know it's a little bit wider spread. I think you were mentioning you get some stuff from like South End, Toledo. I believe it can be narrowed down to kind of the neighborhood areas, but again, it's another good information sharing between neighbors to catch people in the act and kind of alert the neighbors to the crimes that are going on locally.
What a great bonus. Thank you so much for sharing that. We've got the Neighbors Public Safety app and the Nextdoor app. Download those today. Thanks again. What a great bonus. All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Marie Dunn and Officer Stephen Loar for being with me here today on the Perrysburg Podcast. Great information and tips. I will definitely have links to both of those apps in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Remember, folks, deny, deter, delay, detect, and devalue. Just like Officer Loar said, there was a lot to be learned here, and it was all great info. I learned a lot. Perrysburg does have a small crime rate. We do have porch pirates, though, unfortunately, but now we know what to do. Call 911, alert your neighbors, record things on your apps, connect with people on the apps, download the apps, all the things. There's a lot that you can do. Thank you for listening to episode 20 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Please visit perrysburgpodcast.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, again, I'll have links to both of those apps, the Neighbors app and the Nextdoor app, the City of Perrysburg's website, and more. If you know someone who needs to learn about porch pirates in Perrysburg, please share this episode with them. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks for listening today. I'll talk to you next Friday.